So a baby born after the mother had gone to the mikveh is got a head start on life. Someone asked a famous rabbi, "At what age should I begin educating my child? At what age does education begin?" The rabbi said, "How old is your child?" The man said, 3 years old. And the rabbi said, "You're 3 years too late. Education began 3 years ago. Actually, it began 3 years and 9 months ago. Because the attitude towards having a baby is the beginning of the baby's education. The formation of the child's character, the formation of the child's sensitivities, insensitivities, strengths and weaknesses, it all begins 9 months before the birth of the child. Because the way we go about having babies is crucial to the welfare of the baby itself. That makes a lot of sense. What you put into the ingredients when baking bread is going to determine how the bread turns out. So before you bake the bread, you're already shaping the bread by the ingredients you choose to include. You can make the bread just simple, ordinary bread, which is good. You can make it delicious, extraordinary bread, or you can turn it into something that is simply not edible. How do we make babies? And it seems like a silly question, and it's something to discuss in kindergarten. But it's not discussed in kindergarten. It's not discussed in college. It's not discussed at all. Yes, we're told certain technical facts of the process. That's not how you make a baby. That's just the plumbing. Making a baby means giving life. How do you give life? And just talking about eggs and cells, and that's not how you make a baby. Making a baby means introducing a personality, a human being, not just a body. So we know how the body forms, more or less. But how a body forms doesn't tell you how a human being forms. The human being comes from the human within you. The flesh of the baby comes from the flesh of the parents. But where does the personhood, where does the person come from? Obviously, from the personhood of the parents. So, at the time of conception and the act of conception, are you human? Are you animalistic? Are you angelic? What are you doing? What are you investing in the personal or personality of the child? That's a crucial question. Mothers who are sensitive, intuitive, they know this for a fact. The mood, the thoughts, the feelings, the motivations, what is going on in your person, not just in your cells, what is going on in your person when you made this baby? And mothers will tell you, I really didn't want to make a baby in that mood or in those conditions, with that frame of mind, with that emotional baggage. I knew it wouldn't be good for the baby. And They're right. So making a baby should be a little more purposeful, a little more thoughtful, a little more considerate. You want to give the baby the best you have to offer. So a baby should not be created without realizing it. When you're being intimate, you know there's going to be a baby. You want a baby. So be conscious of it, including the father. A father should never be like surprised to find out that his wife is pregnant, as if he doesn't understand how it happened. So, one of the things God tells us that can greatly enhance the personology, the personhood of the baby, is the use of a mikveh. That babies should not be conceived while the woman is menstruating. There's a great sea of knowledge on the subject, but suffice it to say that even according to Chinese medicine, when the body is ridding itself, putting out, it is not a good time to also absorb and take in a baby. So the body is confused because it can't be ridding itself and acquiring for itself at the same time. Output and input can't happen at the same time. And so according to Chinese medicine, according to the yin-yang theory, when a woman is menstruating, it is not a good time to get pregnant. So there's a physical separation between husband and wife, which is very healthy, not only for the mother, but also for the child. And then when they resume their relationship, they re-establish the physical intimacy by the woman going to the mikveh. A mikveh is a body of water, like a pool. It's been used in Jewish life for 3,000 years that we can actually chart, but probably for 4,000 years, since the time of Abraham and Sarah, Avraham and Sarah, maybe even before that. Actually, the explanation or the insight that we're given for the flood of Noah, the world needed to be cleansed. The world needed to be reborn. In order to be reborn, the world was submerged. It's like the entire globe went to the mikveh. The entire earth was underwater, surrounded by water. This condition, being surrounded by water, this is fascinating. That was the original primordial condition and the first stage of creation. If you remember the description of creation, on the second day God said, "Let the waters separate and let the earth surface and become dry land." See, we're assuming that the world, the earth, is a solid mass And water fills the cavities. But earth is described as a solid mass. Wherever there is no solid mass, water collects. So when we go to other planets, for example, we have the same assumption. There is this big body, this mass of Earth. Did any water collect there? Because without water, you can't have life. But the Torah describes reality differently. The way the Torah is describing Earth, it was water. And then Earth interrupted the waters, separated the waters, and we now have dry land, continents. So the picture should be something like this. There was a solid mass of earth, one. It was submerged under water. Earth was surrounded by water. Water was surrounded by air. Air was surrounded by electricity, by energy. That was the first day of creation when God said, "Let there be heaven and earth." Then, in that beginning stage of creation, God said, "Let there be light," and that became the first day. On the second day, God said, "Let the waters separate so that the earth can be dry, livable for the human." And the earth that was submerged underwater broke into segments, floated to the surface, and became the continents, the islands. So really, we should look at the earth as water with spots of earth in it, not a mass of earth with spots of water in it. Which means that in the most primordial condition, in the most original state of existence, earth should be submerged underwater because it's heavier. We actually make a blessing every morning for at least 1,200 years now, 1,800 years, thanking God for the miracle of earth floating on water. Because that's what the globe of Earth, planet Earth, is made of. Earth floating on water. When the body, which is made of earth, needs to be reborn, it is submerged underwater. Natural water. So a mikveh is a collection of natural water in which a body can be completely submerged. Big enough for a body to be submerged. There are mikvahs that are built in places where it hardly ever rains. They've got a problem. What water do you use to fill that mikvah? Because once it's filled, you can filter it. But where do you get natural water when it doesn't rain? So in some places, in Arizona, for example, when they built the mikveh, they trucked in snow or ice, which is, of course, natural water. And then when it melted, it became the water of the mikveh. So it's a complicated process, and how do you keep the water natural if you're trucking it? Just to give you one little detail, the water was collected not in containers, because then it's not natural water anymore. The snow was collected and kept cold in milk cartons that are totally porous. So the water was never contained. It's still in its natural form. At any rate, it's a very specific and detailed instruction on how to build a mikveh, how to fill the mikveh, what water you can use, and so on. But the point of it is, the power of a mikveh is that it returns the woman's body to its most natural primordial state, submerged underwater. In that state, there is total innocence, a return to the most original condition. And that original primordial condition cannot be unhealthy, and it can't be contaminated, and it can't be unholy. It's pure, and it can't lose its purity. So that state of original life is the best condition in which to produce a new life. So a baby born after the mother had gone to the mikveh is got a head start on life. And what is a head start on life? It doesn't mean the baby is going to be brilliant. It doesn't mean the baby is going to be strong. It doesn't mean the baby is going to be rich. It means the baby is going to be alive. It's going to have a joie de vivre. It's going to take great pleasure in being alive, which means it'll be fully alive. We see the opposite of that when children who are seemingly disconnected from their own life, they don't appreciate their life, they don't value their life, they don't get pleasure from it. They live like begrudgingly, like being alive is a burden and a chore, a distasteful thing. That can be prevented if we produce babies with more thoughtfulness, with more intention, with more excitement of life in the parents at the time of conception. So while the parents are making the baby, their thoughts, their feelings, their mood, crucial. That's what you're putting into the baby. And that's why making a baby but not wanting to have a baby, this is not in the baby's best interest. So the power of mikveh is one of those things, aside from proper intention and good mood and good spirit, good health. The mikveh, even before there is intimacy, the way intimacy is governed and practiced has a great effect on the life force of the child. The body will be the same, but the energy would be different. The personhood depends on the parents' Menschlichkeit. Not as a general condition, but what was the mood and the thoughts and the intentions that on that occasion when this intimacy produced this baby. So even great people, really healthy, delightful, fully alive people, but that one occasion when they were being intimate and they were not in a very good mood and they were not very enthusiastic about the intimacy and certainly about the baby that might be born. So that one bad night can be to the detriment of the baby that was born from that night. If you enjoyed this conversation or this topic and you're looking for more information or you want to hear it again from another angle, there's a way to do that. And that is in this book. It's all there. Order it from Amazon. You can read it, reread it, and share it. I want to invite you
to join us as VIPs, partners in our work, and join us also for a personal chat with other members of the VIP club. We talk about many things. There's an opportunity to ask, to respond, to make a comment, to meet the other supporters. And together we can really make a difference in Jewish life and in life in general. So join us. It's goodtoknow.org. Log in, call, make contact, and join us with the VIPs.